In the Money is made possible by financial support from Old National Bank and Chicagoans like you.
Good evening, Chicago, and welcome to In the Money. I'm your host, Tamara Durbin. Tonight's episode is a little special because I have my favorite co-host back with me, my son, Cannon Durbin.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back.
Now listen, being on camera is definitely not Cannon's preference, but tonight he's joining me because this conversation is personal for our family. Cannon is a junior in high school, and like so many families across Chicago, we're starting the process of preparing for college applications, college decisions, and the reality of what college actually costs.
And as a junior, the thought of college is starting to feel really exciting. But the process and everything you have to think about can also feel stressful. I'm thinking about tuition, scholarships, housing, and student loans, and how to manage money while stepping into adulthood.
That's why tonight's conversation matters, because college is more than getting accepted. It's about being financially prepared once you get there. There's a quote that says, "Education is expensive, but ignorance costs even more." And when it comes to college, making informed financial decisions early can make a huge difference later. On the other side of the break, I'll sit down with Illinois State Treasurer Michael Frerichs to talk about what ways families can prepare for college costs, including the Bright Start College Savings Program, and why starting early matters.
And later, my friends and I will sit down with Cameron Durbin, a college student and financial literacy advocate who's helping students navigate real money decisions in real time, from budgeting and credit cards to balancing school, work, and life on campus.
Whether you're a parent trying to plan ahead, a student preparing for your next chapter, or someone currently in college trying to make it all work, this episode is for you. Because tonight, we're talking about college and money.
Stay with us.
Hey Chicago, the conversation is changing.
And this summer, Chicago Newsroom 2.0 is bringing you closer to the stories shaping our city more than ever before.
Join us for our summer season premiere, Thursday, June 11th at 7 p.m.
Featuring exclusive interviews with Congressman and Chicago mayoral candidate Mike Quigley.
And Michael Strautmanis of the Obama Foundation.
Critical conversations.
Diverse voices. Experience the power of community television.
Welcome back. My first guest is Illinois State Treasurer Michael Frerichs, trustee and administrator of the Bright Start 529 College Savings Program. Welcome to In the Money, Mr. Treasurer.
Tamara, thanks for having me here today. Love talking about this topic.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I know our viewers across Chicagoland and wherever they're watching are going to be really informed by our conversation today. So thank you so much. So let's start with, a lot of people don't know what the state treasurer actually does and how it actually connects to helping families prepare for college. So can you talk a little bit about what you do and how you help families prepare for the financial costs of college?
Yeah. So I'm the chief investment officer for the state of Illinois. I invest the state's money. We oversee a portfolio of about $60 billion. Okay. That includes family money that families are investing for their kids' education. Mm-hmm. So I'm the administrator of two 529 college savings programs, Bright Start and Bright Directions.
Okay. A lot of people haven't heard of Bright Directions, so I'm glad that you brought that up. So let's start talking about, because a lot of families, they've heard maybe Bright Start, but they really don't understand what a 529 plan is. So can you tell us what a 529 plan is and how is it different from saving in a regular savings account for college?
So a 529 account is tax advantaged. That means there are tax advantages to doing this. If you just save in a regular savings account, you can do that. but you get no tax deduction, and you don't get, you have to pay tax on the growth of the investment. If you invest in a 529 in the state of Illinois, and you're an Illinois resident, your contributions up to $10,000 a year per parent, up to $20,000 per couple, are deducted from your state taxes. So you save money by doing it that way.
Okay.
You invest that money, and the money has growth. As long as that money comes out for an approved higher education expense, you pay no federal taxes on it. So really the best way to be saving for your kids' college education is through a 529 account.
And people don't think about, okay, if you just like saving it in your regular account, you're probably getting, especially if you're in certain types of financial institutions, 0% versus the stock market, because you're saying that it's invested.
Yeah, you're invested, you can get a higher return. There's some risk associated with that, but when your children are younger, you can afford to take that risk. If there's a market downturn, you have time to make it up. Now we think when your kids get a little older, like our children, juniors in high school, that's the time to not be taking so much risk, and we recommend switching more towards bonds and safer investments.
Sounds good. So let's break down how the Bright Start College Savings Program works. So if a person is interested in investing and starting it, how does this program work?
Let me say the best time to start an account for your young person is yesterday. But a lot of people haven't started, so we said the second best time is today. Get started today because you'll benefit from compounding interest over time. Time is your friend with college savings. But some people say, well, I can't afford to save right now. You can start a college savings account with as little as $1, and there's no required contributions into it. So if your financial situation deteriorates, you can pull back on your contributions. We don't recommend doing that, but if you have to, you can do that. But we think it's so very important you start an account and you tell a young person you start an account. Because research has shown that if a young person knows they have a college savings account, they're 3 times more likely to go to college.
Wow.
If they're the first generation of family, they're 7 times more likely to go to college. And that's because it's not just about the money, it's about the message you send to a young person. When you tell a kid, I set up a college savings account for you, what they hear is, you're smart, you're college material, and I believe in you. And young people generally don't want to let their parents down. That's what makes the big difference. The money doesn't make kids smarter, but it makes them know that they're valued, and it gives them a goal.
That's so good. I never thought about the messaging that actually starting the program and starting investing and actually communicating that investment that sends an actual message to your son or daughter, letting them know, I believe in you. So that's really good.
It also gives a great lesson because we send quarterly statements to the house, and when my daughter reached a certain age, I would open up the statements and show her, this is how much money you had in the account, this is how much money daddy put in, this is how much you have today, and she would see, well, the numbers don't add up. And that was teaching her about investments, interest income. And sometimes you would have a decline and you talk about risk associated with it. But I'll tell you, one day she looked at me and said, Daddy, is all that money mine? And I looked at her and said, honey, it is, as long as you go to college. If you don't go to college, that's Daddy's money.
Wow.
And she said, no, Daddy, I'm going to college. That's mine.
That's good. That's a good lesson. So, and you just kind of talked about it, of the principle of why. Can you break it down and go a little deeper as to why it's important to start as early as possible? I know like with our son, we actually did Bright Start, and we started as soon as he was born.
Yeah, you did it right. Start as soon as you're born. If you have a child on the way, there are ways you can start an account even before your child is born. You can open it with yourself as the beneficiary, and when they are born and they have a Social Security number, you can change the beneficiary to them. It's important for 2 reasons. One, for that message I told you about setting an expectation for young people. But 2, it's the benefit of time. When you invest that money over time, it grows and it compounds. And college, the one thing I can tell you is it's expensive. Whatever you think it's going to be, it's probably going to be more than that. And so the earlier you start, the more time you have to earn. There's the contributions you put in, but the real benefit is the growth. And if it's in a 529, all of that growth is tax-free.
Are you guys, I hope that our listeners and our viewers are hearing that it's tax-free when it grows. When you take it out of that investment, it's tax-free, because a lot of times investments that we make are not tax-free.
As long as it's used for an approved higher education expense, it can be used for a 4-year or a 2-year university or community college. It can be used for a trade school, a vocational program. It can be even used for an apprenticeship. So it's very flexible. We know not every kid is going to go to college, but we know that all kids are going to need some sort of education, skill, or accreditation to get a better job.
Now, I know you talked about messaging of what that sends to your son or daughter, the saying, okay, I have this money for you going to college. But for some reason, let's say, we've
Yep.
invested all this money and they decide they're not going to college, they decide a different path. What happens to the money then? We have this investment, and what is the plan? Because I know some people say, oh, I don't want to invest it because what if they don't go to college? But they're going to give them the message, but what if they don't go to college?
Yeah, not every kid is for college, but I hear a lot of parents making this an excuse for not investing. I don't want to invest and tie up my money. But if your child decides they don't want to go, well, the money can sit there. It can be transferred to another family member. Maybe they have a younger sibling it can go to, or a cousin. If they decide, I just want to go start working a job, up to $35,000 of that account can be rolled over into an IRA for that child. So a good way to put them on a pathway to successful retirement. Money can, as a last resort, can come out of that account, and you just pay taxes on the amount of the growth. You don't pay a tax or a penalty on the amount you put in.
So this will be my last question. What's the first step for viewers that are watching and say, okay, Mr. Treasurer, I'm going to start to invest for my child's college education because I hear you, it's expensive and I need to start investing. What's the first step families should take after watching this episode?
They should go to brightstart.com. They go there, they can set up an account, as I said, with as little as $1 with no required contributions. We encourage you to do more if you can. If you want to work with a financial advisor, you can use Bright Directions. It's an advisor sold plan. But you can do this with low fees, handle it yourself online. And if you feel like you don't know a lot about investing, we have target date plans that will help you work through the process here. So when you start and your kids are young, you'll have a higher allocation in stocks and a smaller allocation in bonds. And as they get closer to graduation, those numbers start to switch.
Thank you so much, Mr. Treasurer, for joining us today. I know that our viewers were informed about college saving and how to invest, and hopefully they'll check out the Bright Start program.
Well, thanks for having me. This is so very important. As I said, not every kid has to go to college, but we want to put them on a right path so that they can get a degree, they can get some sort of training or skill to get a good job and have a bright future.
Thank you so much. On the other side of the break, Cannon will be joined by his friends Matthew, Destiny, and college financial literacy advocate Cameron Durbin. Stay with us.
Got something to say about Chicago? Now's your chance to be heard. Chicago Newsroom 2.0 is launching Opinion, a new segment where everyday Chicagoans take the mic. Whether it's a neighborhood issue that's been ignored, a citywide concern that needs attention, or a fresh idea that could change our city, we want to hear from you. Submit your commentary at cantv.org/opinion. If selected, we'll invite you on air to share your perspective with all of Chicago. Experience the power of community television.
Joining the conversation now are Cameron Durbin, a rising senior at Tuskegee University and campus financial literacy advocate, and my friends Matthew and Destiny. Welcome to In the Money, Matthew, Destiny, and Cameron.
Nice to be here.
So I want to start our conversation off with our first question. What surprised you most about money when you got to college?
What surprised me the most about money when I got to college is how fast money gets spent. It's always times you want to go out with your friends, go eat, buy clothes for events on campus, and that money goes away very fast.
So as high school students, what can we be doing right now financially to prepare for that?
To prepare for that right now, I will be saving you guys money in in a high yield savings account. Compared to a regular savings account, you'll get more interest back on your money. So even if you're not contributing consistently, you'll get interest consistently.
How should money factor into choosing a college?
I would say pick the college that gives you guys the most money with scholarships and financial aid combined. Picking the school that gives you guys the most money is less money that you have to pay out of pocket and less student loans for yourself.
What are the biggest expenses in students that students don't plan for?
The biggest expenses that students don't plan for are, I'm going to say, the fun events. So like homecoming, especially going to a HBCU, that's a big thing. So everybody wants to get their hair done, their nails done, just get maintenance, new clothes, as well as going out to the parties and stuff. And as well as Spring Fest during spring semester, that's like another mini homecoming. So that's the big thing that students aren't prepared for, is those fun events that you want to look nice for.
Do you feel like students should be working while in school, both in terms of college and in high school?
I think in high school, not really, but in college, definitely, I would pick up a part-time job. Maybe a work-study job is a good option because it helps you balance your work life and your school life, because most of the time you're going to be working on campus with your advisor or someone in your campus department.
What are students getting wrong about credit cards?
What students are getting wrong about credit cards is that this is not free money. This is borrowed money. So you will eventually have to pay back this money. It's best to pay off your credit card in full every month, or if not, there will be interest charges added. And being college students, we don't have a long credit history, so the APR on those credit cards are extremely high. So it's very good to pay them off on time.
What is a mistake students make about loans?
A mistake students make about loans is taking out a huge amount or taking out too many loans through different lenders. You have your unsubsidized loans and your subsidized loans. The unsubsidized loans are both through the government, and with the unsubsidized, the interest is building while you're in school. With the subsidized loans, the government covers the interest charge.
How do you personally manage your money during the semester?
Personally, I manage my money on an Excel sheet. I have my set budget. In college, I'm an entrepreneur, so I braid hair. So my income isn't consistent every month, so I make sure that I'm covering my fixed income, my fixed expenses first, and then anything else might be just discretionary income for myself.
What's one habit that helps you stay in control of your money?
One habit that helps me stay in control is having a budget. That is a really big thing. So setting out everything that you might need to buy for the month, maybe clothes, you might want some new clothes, your groceries, gas, if you have a car on campus. So setting those things out in the beginning of the month helps me keep myself on track.
What does a realistic college budget really look like?
A realistic budget consists of maybe spending around 50% on your necessities, another 30% on, the fun activities, going out with friends, going out to eat, and then saving 20%. Saving 20% does become hard as a college student because, like I said, there are a lot of unexpected expenses, but that should be you guys' goal, to save 20%.
What should students understand about loans before accepting them?
What students should understand about loans is how much you're going to have to pay back and the APR rate on the loan. If you have a higher APR, that means you're going to be paying more money on interest, so it's best to find the loan that gives you the lowest APR.
Okay. Our last question would be, how would you begin investing in college?
To begin investing in college, I would definitely open a Roth IRA account. This is the best thing for college students because this money is post-tax, so you are putting it in your account, and once you take it out, no tax comes out of the account. There's a max contribution of $7,000 for us at this age, so you can contribute that every year up to $7,000.
Thank you, Cameron, for sharing your tips and experience, and thank you, Matthew and Destiny, for joining the conversation. On the other side of the break, Ben Jorgens returns with a fresh installment of Money Matters. Stay with us.
They say television is about sitting back. We say it's about stepping up. Your block has stories worth telling. Your neighbors have voices worth hearing. Chicago has a heartbeat worth sharing. Stop watching their world. Start showing yours. It's time to tune in and be seen. Can TV, always here, always yours. Experience the power of community television.
Here now with this week's installment of Money Matters is Old National Bank's Ben Jorgens.
Talking to kids about money doesn't have to be scary, awkward, or even complicated. The truth is, some of the most powerful money lessons don't come from lectures. They come from everyday moments at home. The key is meeting kids where they are and letting money conversations grow with time. Let's look at ages 3 to 5, introducing money for younger kids. It's really about the basics. At this age, money is brand new. Let them see it, touch it, and talk about it. Use pretend play, play store, play restaurant, and let them buy things with play money. Use a clear jar or a piggy bank so they can actually see their money. And start simple conversations at the store, like, we need groceries, but that toy is really a want. At this stage, it's not about how much money they have. It's about helping them understand that money is real and choices do matter. In ages 6 to 9, let's talk about earning and savings. This is when kids really start to connect effort to earning. Simple chores with a small allowance can be a great teaching tool. And one of my favorite ideas for this age is the 3-jar system. Save, spend, and share. When money comes in, it gets divided up so kids learn early that money has different jobs. This is also a great age to teach patience. Saving up for a toy instead of buying it right away helps kids learn delayed gratification, a skill that pays off in life. Ages 10 to 12, let's focus on planning and goals. As kids get older, they're ready for bigger conversations. This is the age to talk about planning and trade-offs. Help them save for bigger goals like electronics, activities, or gifts for others. Let them track their money even for simple list works. At the store, ask questions like, if you buy this now, what won't you be able to buy later? This is also a great time to introduce youth savings accounts so that they can see how banking works in the real world. As we get into 13 through 15-year-olds, real-life practice with teens, money becomes more real, and so should the conversations. Talk honestly at an age-appropriate level about things like groceries, phone bills, and gas. And if you have a part-time job, talk about paychecks, taxes, and why saving part of every dollar matters. And don't be afraid to share your own money mistakes. Teens don't need perfection, they need honesty. And as we get from 16 to 18, we want to prepare them for independence. At this stage, parents are helping kids practice adult skills in a safe way. Talk about car cost, insurance, credit, and how borrowing really works. Help them understand that credit can be useful, but it has consequences. And most importantly, help them build confidence managing their own money before they leave home. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to raise a perfect money manager. It's to raise confident ones. The best money lessons happen in everyday moments. And the earlier that we start, the stronger those habits become.
Thanks so much, Ben, for giving these practical tips for our parents, because I know each parent is like, okay, what should I do for my son or daughter? So thank you so much for giving them these tips.
Absolutely.
So we can't end without a dad joke. And today's word is going to be college.
And in college, I struggled in college, right? I was so broke, Tamara, in college, I didn't know whether to buy laundry detergent or breakfast. I mean, it was either all or muffin.
Thanks, Ben. On the other side of the break, this week's Money Moment. Stay with us.
Hey, Chicago, the conversation is changing.
And this summer, Chicago Newsroom 2.0 is bringing you closer to the stories shaping our city more than ever before.
Join us for our summer season premiere, Thursday, June 11th at 7 p.m.
Featuring exclusive interviews with Congressman and Chicago mayoral candidate Mike Quigley.
And Michael Strautmanis of the Obama Foundation.
Critical conversations.
Diverse voices. Experience the power of community television.
The Book of Wisdom says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And tonight's conversation reminded us that teaching our children about money is part of that training too. I believe tonight's conversation was important, not just for Cannon and his friends, but for every family preparing kids for the next stage of life. Because one day our kids will manage money on their own, and a lot of their confidence starts with what they learn at home.
And honestly, as a teen, I can say we're watching more than parents probably realize. We see the habits, the choices, the conversations, and sometimes the stress too.
That's so true. I try to teach Cannon about money, not just through what I say, but through what I model. My goal has always been for him to have a better financial start than I did, and to learn from some of the mistakes I had to learn the hard way. Because every generation should be a little wiser and a little stronger than the one before. I remember recently needing a new laptop, and Cannon said, "Oh, my mom is a baller. You just went and bought a computer." And I had to explain, no, that's not about being a baller. That's about discipline. That's about what I work for, I budget and save for financial freedom. Being able to handle what I need without creating unnecessary debt.
And that conversation made me realize why it's important not to just frivolously spend money on everything I want in the moment, but to be intentional with it. So when something really matters or I truly need something, I actually have the money for it.
Exactly. There's a quote that says, success happens when preparation meets opportunity, and financially preparation matters. The earlier we teach our kids healthy money habits, the more prepared they'll be for real life. Remember, our kids are always watching. They learn not just from what we say, but from what we do. So model good financial behavior. If they see you swipe your card, help them understand that money is either leaving your account or there's still a bill that has to be paid. Normalize conversations about budgeting, saving, credit, college costs, and financial responsibility in your home.
Because the goal isn't just getting into college, the goal is knowing how to manage life once you get there.
Exactly. Here are your action steps for this episode. Number 1, teach your kids about money. Money management is an essential life skill. Use the tips from tonight's episode to start the conversation. And if you missed something, go back and rewatch it. Number 2, start planning for college costs now. Even if you can only start with a small amount, start somewhere. Create space in your budget. Involve family members and explore resources like the Bright Start College Savings Program. Number 3, give your child real-life money experience. Let them practice budgeting, comparing prices, managing an allowance, or helping plan purchases. Confidence with money comes from exposure and practice.
Small lessons now can make a big difference later.
Absolutely. On the next episode of In the Money, we'll explore how to stay in the money with the current high cost of living. And Ben Jorgens is back with a fresh installment of Money Matters. In the meantime, if you have any questions about today's topic or any financial question, send them to me. Email me at tamara@moneybasicsonline.com or follow me on Instagram at IamMoneyBasics. Also follow my guests on social media. I would love to keep this conversation going, so let's connect. Remember, we are on this journey together to get, stay, and grow in the money. See you next time.